He's the candidate no one put much stock in, Carl Paladino, the blunt Italian who says what he feels no matter who it offends.
I'm not mincing my words on any of these people.
Up against the Democratic rival whose family is a political legacy in New York, Andrew Cuomo.
What the campaign is going to be about, in my opinion, is going to be very simple at the end of the day. Who can change Albany?
With endorsements from fellow Democrats like New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, Cuomo has been the clear favorite, enjoying a nearly 20-point lead in the polls. But that gap is narrowing. Paladino's unconventional campaign strategy put a national spotlight on the state's governor's race. With provoking ads like these aimed at Cuomo, Paladino earned himself a reputation even in his own party as a loose cannon. Democrats nicknamed him Crazy Carl. But the more shocking he gets, the more it raises his profile.
New York State voters are pretty familiar with Andrew Cuomo, and most New York State voters have no idea much about Carl Paladino. And so people are just tuning into this race. And these kinds of tactics can spark kind of a different sort of interest than the cut and dry typical messages of a typical campaign.
Sitting down with Paladino one-on-one, he's surprisingly muted. A Tea Party candidate strategically riding the wave, promising change.
I'm going to root out corruption anywhere in government. But the essence of what we are doing is change. Change, change, change.
But his opinionated bulldozer approach to politics has ruffled more than a few feathers in Albany. With plenty of enemies, including the Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver, it may be a tough road to the governor's mansion. And Paladino makes it clear if he is elected, he has no intention of bending over backwards to get along.
I will work with who I choose to work with. All right? Yes, it's not going to be pretty. I've told everyone it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be very confrontational, but we're changing the way government does things.
As Election Day nears, Paladino promises it will get uglier. He plans to capitalize off those voters who see Cuomo as the status quo, encompassing all that's wrong with the state's out-of-control spending and high taxes.
That's who's running the government, and that has to change.
But Paladino is up against Cuomo's almost incumbent-like status in the highly Democratic state. And no matter what the polls show, Cuomo says he has no plans to change his campaign strategy against Paladino.
Am I going to respond to name-calling? No. I'm not going to do it. I don't believe in it, and I'm not going to do it.
Now, whether Paladino's extreme tactics translate into votes, that remains to be seen. But the strategy was meant not only to get a rise out of Cuomo, but to also pressure him into a debate. Now there are talks that both parties will have a debate on the issues, although the details still need to be worked out. In New York, Bonnie Ghosh, The Associated Press.